Writing a balanced equation in chemistry is a very important concept which obeys the law of conservation of matter. And basically, this law of conservation of matter states that matter can neither be created nor destroyed. This simply means that the number of atoms on the reactant side should be equal to the number of atoms on the product side in a chemical equation. Welcome to Learning Science the Easy Way. It is your favorite teacher, Kaumaji Mwanza. So in this video, I'm going to discuss on how you can write a balanced chemical equation in a very easy way. Okay, so if we have this equation as our first example, where we have hydrogen reacting with oxygen in order to give us water. So when you look at this equation, it is not a balanced equation. So we have to balance it. So when balancing the chemical equation, the first thing that you are supposed to do is to count the number of atoms on the reactant side. You also count the number of atoms on the product side. So we have hydrogen and oxygen this side. We also have hydrogen and oxygen this side. So for hydrogen, we have 2 atoms on the reactant side because of this 2, which is written as a subscript. Then oxygen, we also have 2 atoms. So when you come to the product side, hydrogen, we have 2. Then oxygen, we have 1. So this simply shows that hydrogen is balanced, but we need to balance oxygen. So the second thing to do now is to introduce a coefficient. And a coefficient is written in front of an element or a compound. So in this case, we are trying to balance oxygen. So we write a coefficient 2 in front of water. So what we've just done here is that these 2 will multiply with everything here. So we multiply by 2, we are going to have 4. We multiply by 2, we are going to have 2. So this simply shows that oxygen is balanced, but we have disturbed hydrogen. So in order to balance hydrogen, we are going to write a coefficient 2 in front of hydrogen, so that when we multiply by 2, we are going to have 4. So this one shows that hydrogen has 4 atoms on the reactant side. It also has 4 atoms on the product side. Oxygen has got 2 atoms on the reactant side, and at the same time it has got 2 atoms on the product's side. So we try to look at this other equation where we have sulfur reacting with oxygen to give us sulfur dioxide. So we count the number of atoms for sulfur. We also count the number of atoms for oxygen on the reactant side. We do the same on the product side. So sulfur here we have 8, oxygen 2. Sulfur here 1, oxygen 2. So from this equation we can tell that sulfur is not balanced, but oxygen is balanced. So we balance sulfur. From there, by balancing sulfur, we are going to introduce the coefficients. So we write 8 in front of sulfur dioxide. So we multiply by 8 here. We also multiply by 8 there. So we have 8, but this side we are going to have 16. So meaning we have balanced sulfur, but we have disturbed oxygen. So in order to balance oxygen, we are going to introduce 8 this other side. so that we multiply here with 8 to give us 16. So this equation which we have is a balanced chemical equation. So this is how you balance a chemical equation in a very simple way. Okay, let's try to look at this other equation that involves the polyatomic ions. So like in this case, we have barium nitrate reacting with sodium sulfate to give us barium sulfate and sodium nitrate. So the sulfates and the nitrates, these are the ones that we are calling as the polyatomic ions. Polyatomic ions. So the nitrates and the sulfates in this equation are the ones that are called the polyatomic ions. So the polyatomic ions, when you are balancing an equation, they have to be carried as one item. So you carry the polyatomic ions as one item. So in this case, we have barium, we have nitrate. You carry it as one item. Then we have sodium and sulfate. Then you do the same this side. You have barium, the nitrate there, sodium and sulfate. Then you count for barium, for nitrate and for sulfate. So barium this side, we have 1. Nitrate, we have 2. Sodium, 2. Sulfate, 1. You do the same this side. Barium, 1. Nitrate, 1. Sodium, 1. And sulfate, 1. So just by looking at the distributions that we have, we are able to tell which ones are balanced and those that are not balanced. So like in this case, we have barium here, 1. Even this side we have barium 1. Nitrate, 2. Even this side, so this side we have nitrate 1. Sodium, 2. Sodium 1 here. Sulfate 1. Sulfate 1 there. So the sulfates are balanced, as well as barium is also balanced. So in order for us to balance the nitrates and sodium, we have to add a coefficient in add of sodium nitrate on the product side. So we add a coefficient 2. So when we add a coefficient 2, we are going to multiply everything with 2, this side with 2. So here when we multiply 1 times 2, we have 2. And this side 1 times 2, we have 2. So that simply shows us that barium 1, nitrates 2, sodiums 2, and as well as the sulfates 1. So this shows that the equation is balanced. So this is how you write a correct balanced equation. And I hope you followed through. Thank you very much for watching.